marks on the road.
Look! What a big ship! Is that the Five-Toothed warship?
Oh, wow! That ship's as tall as mine. Shrimp, orchid loom, coral beef, 11-12.
The Baoshan Tower is a majestic sight. Undeniable proof of the song's rising power. A noble ruler, and the flourishing gifted minds.
Today's banquet hosts honored talents invited by the Emperor. We must be very careful.
How are the preparations? Nothing out of order?
If any fruit or vegetable lacks freshness, return it to the kitchen for replacement. Quickly now, fresh tea.
Mozi once built a wooden kite, 3 years to make, and 1 day to fall. Now the kite I've made can not only soar for days, scouting the enemy day and night without rest, it can also harness the firestone, whistle out commands, and lead the battle charge. But when has there ever been a kite that soars forever? Still, even if it does fall one day, what is more important is how high it once flew and how far. I have already reported to the once the guests are seated. This year, such a magnificent. If we don't enjoy the
What I heard is that military hosting a banquet.
seeing through everything, you're not simple. The prefect, under the guise of watching the indeed, it's to raise military funds. Now with the internal strife, by then, if we can use the power of the Navy to intimidate them, they will surely provide.
What a brilliant move.
Both countries have now sent pretending to tour is prefects. As for the invitation is as once the guests are seated.
A brief respite.
Orchid loom, coral
A
beef,
brief respite.
11-12.
The Baoshan Tower is a majestic sight. Undeniable proof of the song's rising power. A noble ruler, and the flourishing of gifted minds.
Today's banquet hosts honored talents invited by...
Imperial Garden. The seasons pass like poetry.
Everyone's gathered to see the archery. Why are you still standing around?
This time, I'm judging by your noble demeanor. You must be an envoy from another country. Am I right?
Good perception. I am Mang Shui.
The governor is hosting a...
Oh?
The Jinming Pool Navy.
Greetings.
Greetings, young hero.
The governor has prepared a banquet at
Banquet?
Sorry for the interruption.
It's been several. What artifact are you at?
General, today I am entrusted.
So, it's about...
The Quintident warship towers with 5-deck citadels and stands over 30 meters tall, capable of mustering 1,000. This ship stands firm in the center of the army, as solid as smashing nearby boats.
This massive warship is so huge, sailing from the north to the Shanghai region. If the waterline...
When sailing from the Sui Dynasty Quintident, relied, but speed is crucial in war. Switch to water tank ballast, draw and discharge water locally, and adjust the waterline as easily as moving your arm. In this way, this ship can travel between the northern and southern waterways, as if entering an unguarded land.
Good. In the past, when the Sui dynasty conquered the Qin dynasty and lost to time, once the final battle. Honored envoys, you've always been diligent. Now, Nanping and Wuping are in turmoil. Commoners of Jinghu are in dire strife. Bashu and Jiangnan are both along the Yangtze River.
Jiangnan has already exhausted its national resources, having paid tribute 3 times countless gold, silver, and silk fabrics.
Lord Zhao, the military funds required by the Great Song have been transported with the Shu Kingdom's fleet. It is currently stationed outside the... Only 2 requests for the Song dynasty to fulfill. First, once the Song occupies the Yangtze River. Second, they must hand over the restoration diagram of the 5-toothed warship to the Shu Kingdom.
Okay. Please, esteemed envoy, after the banquet, enter Jinming Pool. Admire the great ship and hand over the diagram. Someone, draft the contract. Since the 2 countries have already made a treaty, General Rong, please hand over your talisman and lend it to the Shu envoy for a while.
The diagram of the 5... Bringing the diagram back.
Huh? How did this...
Because of that brat. If it weren't for stealing...
Damn it.
The Baojun Tower is a majestic sight. Undeniable proof of the Song's rising power. A noble ruler, and the flourishing of gifted minds.
The 14 states
Despite the nation's decline.
Lord Zhao, the diagram is...
Right. Important. If we with you here today...
Speak.
Jinming Pool in such a crucial... the theft of the diagram. I could also...
Stealing from what?
If we can swift...
Young hero. If Bob...
In that case, I'll make a trip and...
Banquet is about to end. Jinming Pool is...
holds the coincident warship.
Exactly. The towering ship has 5 decks, stands over 100 feet tall, and can accommodate 1,000 warriors. 6 giant hammer poles are set up around, hanging high on all sides. And the ship's hull is as majestic as a grand mansion. Once the giant hammer falls from above, the enemy ship will be shattered to pieces. Wang Zhen's tower ship sailed down to Yizhou and dimmed the royal Jinming. It's been 5 years since Emperor Shizong commissioned this pond for naval training in Kaifeng.
Breathtaking indeed.
This unprecedented in scale. I've returned my talisman. I can't go further from here. It's all on you now, young wanderer. The envoy of Shu has arrived at the palace hall. The navy is heavily guarded.
With so many, can we get close to the envoy of Shu?
Naturally. We'll first survey the terrain, plan, and then act. The water functions as a natural defense. Even the most excellent swimmer will not be able to swim that far. With this distance, even the best swimmer would be powerless. The flank is well guarded. They have even dispatched elite bugle soldiers. It would be unwise to attempt entry there. By then, the entire Jinming Pool will be on high alert, and the boarding passages will be sealed. A frontal attack is out of the question. The entire route is lined with officials and soldiers come to greet the later Shu envoy. An unwise charge will only alert the enemy. However, I've already left something for you to step on, at the mast of the Haihu ship and at the eaves of the hall. With this, you can spring upward and reach higher ground. Proceeding across the eaves, you could approach the water in front of the square quietly. The willows by the water will be your best cover when it comes time to dive. There is no way for us to get to the banks with all of those soldiers and officials around. Perhaps you could hold your breath and enter the outlet from underwater. This way, you will be able to approach their handover points and secretly obtain what you need to know. Before boarding the Quintident warship, make sure not to alert the official troops.
The military funds are at Huilong Station. After obtaining the five-tooth warship diagram, we can finalize the deal.
I still need to stay here to oversee military drills, so I can only accompany you this far for now. Please, esteemed envoy, take my military talisman and head to the dock to board the warship. General Murong has been waiting for a long time. The diagram is on the top floor of the ship. As you inspect the warship, you can take it back with you.
The authentic blueprint is on board. We will stick to the plan.
Your Highness, is this five-tooth warship really that powerful? Is it worth using so much military funds to exchange for a single diagram?
Why are you so unambitious? Haven't you thought about it? After occupying the middle reaches of the Yangtze, where should this great ship sail next? If not Jiangnan, then Bashu.
Your Highness, I understand.
What have you understood?
The meaning of today's banquet is, whoever doesn't pay up will be the next one to get hit.
Finally, some progress. This tribute of military provisions can ensure the peace of our Shu kingdom for 3 to 5 years. Seizing this opportunity, if we work hard, we can also build this five-tooth warship. In the future, we might still be able to fight against Song.
Your Highness.
Why do you talk so much?
Your Highness, I wanted to ask, why do we have to personally board the ship to retrieve the diagram of the great warship? Could there be any trickery here?
What trick could there be? Even in war, envoys are not beheaded. Zhao Guangyi, that guy, killed 2 birds with 1 stone. Firstly, by showing off the five-tooth warship to us. Secondly, by taking the opportunity to retrieve the talisman. It seems the Zhao family is about to kill the donkey after grinding the flour.
By order, verify the boarding talisman.
Excuse me? How do I use this boarding talisman?
Sail to the military port on the opposite shore.
Esteemed envoy, please board the ship and wait. Once the documents are exchanged, we will set off at once for the military port on the far bank and board the warship. Esteemed envoy, please board the ship and wait. Once the documents are exchanged, we will set off at once for the military port on the far bank and board the warship.
tell me, Miss General? It can't be. Then why did she lock... I'm...
Who goes there? You meddle!
Stop!
You've cut yourself off from family and friends. So you recall nothing. As though the past never occurred. Yet I cannot forget. Sometimes I wish I was the one who couldn't remember. Yon still Yon, Dad still Dad. Southern Expedition? Quintident? None of that concerns us.
Yuan. Die. The four sons of the military are now divided. It all started when he became the emperor. The Yun hanging the portrait of the late emperor high, refusing to serve the new dynasty, is nothing but a desire for death. Xiao Guangying refused to pacify and sent us brothers to personally quell the rebellion. The four sons of the military are now divided. It all started when he became the emperor. The Yun region. But he broke his people, say he made ignorant of the fact. Trusted your family all to the southern front again if it weren't up.
This floor panel looks like it opens. Oil tanks with ignition triggers. If that ship blows...
I didn't expect it.
The command room is ahead. Let's search.
How about we ask General Mo—
You'll trust someone mad.
True. The entrance is already sealed, so finding him...
We're in trouble, brother. He solved General Ross. Tell the General, quick!
Stop!
Give your name.
The wind.
Die for the realm.
there!
Have mercy!
Hang in there! Give your name!
For the realm.
Stop!
Leave the quintident diagram. When Sui conquered Shen and unified the north, it was the quintident that secured the Yangtze. My goal in life has always been the pursuit of ingenuity and technical perfection. Born into chaos and eventually conquering the world. I should die without regret. But this path, the obsession is rooted too deep, and I find there's no turning back. Remember the Maoist teaching of non-aggression? Wage no war on the innocent. Serve no lords unjust.
It's you! You tampered with the diagram. It's you who's trying to obstruct the Southern campaign!
What's done is done. No point in going on that. Even if we end up as ashes and dust, we can fight this battle. That is dying without regret!
Spring never ends. Straight!